darem la mano, la mi dirai di sì. Vedi non è lontano, partiam ben mio da qui.
Touchy.
Do you know what they're having at the palace now? Mushrooms from Switzerland, pheasants from England, wine from Spain. 120 years old and £5 a bottle. And here sits the hero of the evening, missing it all.
Are you missing it all?
Of course not. The real and exclusive party of the evening is here. Besides, I know exactly what's happening at the palace. The Queen. Ferdinando, tace, Ferdinando. And the king, the poor little king, with 15 children in the kingdom of Naples, and never an answer to give to his queen. And here sits the British ambassador, bored and dreaming only of his last statue from Pompeii. And throughout the evening, there sits Lord Nelson, exhibiting his various moods, one by one. Lord Nelson in a bad mood. Lord Nelson in a good mood. Lord Nelson in an exuberant mood.
Am I really such a dull fellow?
Only when you ask questions like that.
And now it's my turn to give you a little presentation. What mood is this? One guess.
Nelson allowing himself to be just a little bit happy.
Nelson in love.
All the inns in Naples to choose this one.
Probably the last place in Naples where they expected to find me.
Were you at the opera tonight, my dear? No? You should have been. There was quite a profusion of barmaids. Some even found their way to the royal bar.
He's drunk.
I see you're not married, my dear. What a pity. Married women are bestowing their favors so cheaply these days.
He's never behaved like this before.
Friends, I give you the real hero of the hour, Sir William Hamilton.
That's an excellent toast, Josiah. May I drink it with you? Thank you. Sir William Hamilton. Lady Hamilton and I are leaving. Fetch a cab.
Sir.
Don't let us disturb you, lads. You're off duty. Enjoy yourself. Forgive them, my dear. They're very, very young.
I have forgiven them.
That's the way people look at these things. They do not believe in a friendship between a man and a woman.
Do you?
Right, later. Later.
It was magnificent, stupendous. Wasn't I wonderful, William? Wasn't it a success? A triumph. The greatest ball ever seen in Naples.
You were stupendous. You entertained 200 people as easily as you enchant a solitary husband.
The king said to me, Milady, la sua bellezza mi fada dimenticare tutti I pensieri della realtà. And Hardy, good old Hardy said, well, I'll be blowed, your ladyship. What I mean to say is, well, you know what I mean. Oh, and oh, goodness, I'm so tired.
What did he say?
He who?
He.
Oh, he didn't say anything. He never says much, you know.
People were saying that he should have sat on your right during dinner, not on your left.
What? Give the Queen the side with the eye on it? Not likely.
He seemed very happy.
Yes, I really think he's better now. Tonight he seemed to forget everything. His ships, the war, Napoleon, everything.
Could any man think of worldly cares in the spell of Emma's magic? But he deserved his happiness this evening. After such happiness, how sad to find oneself the next morning at sea again. And at war.
What do you mean? We're going to Pompeii tomorrow.
Lord Nelson will be on his way to Malta.
I think there must be some mistake, William. Lord Nelson left 10 minutes ago and said he would be with us at 12 tomorrow.
The dispatch arrived while dessert was being served. I had it sent straight aboard his ship. He's probably reading it at this very moment.
Why didn't you tell me this before, William?
But, my dear, I wouldn't have spoilt your evening for anything in the world.
You mean you wouldn't have spoiled yours for anything? You tried to prevent me from saying goodbye to him.
You know, Emma, there are 3 kinds of deceived husbands in the world. First, there are those who were born to be deceived. Second, who do not know. And third, who do not care. I've been wondering for some time now which of the 3 I shall be myself.
Have you forgotten the 4th kind, William? The kind that is hard and empty and gives nothing? You married me because you wanted a new ornament for your house. Like that painting, or that statue, or that vase. As far as you're concerned, I'm just as ornamental and just as dead.
But, my dear, how can you call my statues dead? When I'm alone and rather tired, think what it means to me to have my statues with me, to know that they'll always be lovely, will never grow old, and never walk out with sailors. What a pity you're not going to see him again. It would have been a farewell scene of lasting beauty. I shall sleep beautifully tonight. Good night, my dear.
Darling, come back. Come back.
Emily, he's waiting for you out on the balcony.
People will see you. They'll talk.
Let them talk. I don't care, do you? Are you sorry?
I'm only sorry for all the wasted years I've been without you. For all the years I shall have to be without you.
You'll come back, won't you?
I wonder if I shall. I feel that I should not. You are married and I am married. In the magic and music of the ballroom, these things become rather blurred. They stand out very clearly in the dawn. Your life is here. My life is there. We must obey the creeds and codes that we've sworn our lives to. I know that I must not come back. And I know that nothing in this world can keep me away.
Sir. Our first objective is to recover Malta. In that case, I suggest we send the Culloden, the Lion, and the Goliath under Captain Ball to blockade the island and then take possession of it.
Excuse me, sir.
What is it?
We just picked up a fishing boat with refugees from Naples.
Refugees from Naples?
Yes, sir. They say a revolution has broken out. The government got away, and the king and queen are locked up in the palace with most of the court people. I don't understand everything he says, sir, but there must be plenty of shooting, looting, and murdering in the town.
That's what you've always said, sir. Just wait until we're gone. Serves them right. They can't help themselves, nobody else can. Well, this is Lord Keith's order, sir. We've got to meet the Alexander, the Foudroyant, and the Minotaur at the point of intersection here.
Blackwood, go back to your ship. Arrange with Ball to blockade Malta. The rest of the fleet sails to Messina.
Well, what course are you taking, sir?
Back to Naples. What are you waiting for, Trowbridge? You've got your orders?
Sir, Lord Keith's orders clearly...
Lord Keith's orders are addressed to me. Mine are addressed to you. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Return to your ships at once. May I speak, sir?
Yes? I'm under your orders, sir. I'll do as I'm told. I'll sail this ship anywhere where there's water under her keel. But I implore you, call Blackwood and Trowbridge back and send the fleet where it's ordered to.
And leave our allies, the King and Queen of Naples, at the mercy of that rabble? You know what that mob would do to them. You've forgotten what happened in Paris? You wanted to build that bestial guillotine in Naples?
But you know what they'll say in London, sir? It wasn't the royal family you went back for.
Be careful what you say. I will say it.
They'll say you went back for Lady Hamilton.
Let them say it. Let them say what they wish. I will not see those I love and owe loyalty to left alone.
Back to Naples.
I understand, sir.
In the face of such open disobedience, I must ask your lordships for a clear decision.
Where is Nelson now?
At Palermo, where he took the whole party after he got them away from Naples. Much as I dislike discussing personalities and private matters, I must say he does not behave in a manner befitting a British admiral.
I quite agree with what you're saying.
Gentlemen, Lord Nelson has some excuse for his disobedience.
How can there be an excuse for disobedience?
He did save the royal family of an allied nation from certain death at the hands of the mob. He also saved the British ambassador and his wife.
What is the point of saving the husband?
Yes, you think it very funny. The whole of England thinks it's funny. The whole of Europe. But it's high time that's up.
Steady, Keith. Steady. No one questions the seriousness of this matter. Lord Nelson is a very gallant sailor, but not even the greatest hero. Strong enough to defeat the prejudices and conventions of society. We must be tolerant with poor Nelson. Be best to bring him home at once. Let him say farewell to this charming little romance of his. Let him forget the beautiful Emma.
Oh, that's appalling.
Wonderful, magnificent. This time we have them at our mercy.
That's the worst hand we've had.
I know, you'll bluff them. Smile, just smile.
It's fortunate they don't understand us.
Possiamo incominciare, signore?
Qual è la posta?
Il doppio. Vediamo.
But that's madness. We haven't a chance.
We shall in a minute. Smile.
The 7 of diamonds.
The ace of diamonds.
There, you see.
The queen of clubs.
But that's madness.
Treble the stakes. Triplicchiamo il posto.
Darling.
The king of spades. The 7 of diamonds. And the ace of hearts. Ebbene, signora, cosa ve ne pare?
Molto fortunata lei.
Bravissima, signora.
If I catch your impudence, what would you have done if the bluff had failed, eh?
Oh, never mind. I would have fainted and upset the table. And now let us go.
But we can't go yet, darling. We must give them a chance to retrieve their losses.
Oh, they give you a chance? No, come along. I'll order the carriage and we'll drive home by the sea. The air in here is unbearable. I'll be on the balcony. Arrivederci, signore. Bonsoir, monsieur.
In a minute.
Emma, there's a matter of some importance that I must speak to you about.
Yes, William?
10 days ago, a dispatch came from the Admiralty instructing Nelson in very definite terms to report in London at once.
What has all this to do with me?
Well, if Nelson ignores this final order, there can be only one result. Dismissal from the Navy and the end of his career. Is it worth it, Emma? His future is in your hands, you know that.
Very well. If we must go back, we must go back. I'll tell him tonight. When do you wish us to leave?
We are not going to leave, Emma. My instructions from the Admiralty say that Nelson is to return alone.
Oh, I understand. The Admiralty is anxious to save him from me. And what am I expected to do?
Well, it will be very convenient, my dear. The Turkish envoy has invited you to winter in Cairo. Tell Nelson that you love Egypt and that you have accepted the invitation. You can be wonderfully convincing when you try, Emma. And the moment you leave for Egypt, he will have no alternative but to obey orders and return. I know I'm asking you to do a very difficult and painful duty.
Thank you, William.
Well, we both have our duty, haven't we? Good luck with yours, my dear.
Well, I lost everything, and I feel better for it.
What is the matter, my dear?
William has just been talking to me, telling me of the repeated dispatches from the Admiralty. He also wanted me to put on a little performance for you. Act 1, Emma Hamilton expresses a sudden desire to see the Sphinx and the pyramids. Act 2, Lord Nelson pleads, Emma Hamilton remains adamant. Act 3, Emma Hamilton departs for Egypt, and Lord Nelson returns to London a sadder and wiser man. Poor William. He was so serious about it all. I'm convinced he was only thinking of your career. I could see he'd been puzzling through all sorts of stories, and the only one that hadn't occurred to him was the truth. How silly. How utterly silly to think that we should need lies, you and I. My darling, what is the truth? Should I have put on that comedy for you?
Might have helped, perhaps.
Oh, no.
I cannot put it off any longer. I must go back this time. They want me to go alone.
Oh, of course you must go. And of course I must go to Egypt. I don't want to be a burden to you, my darling. My darling. Of course I will enjoy seeing the pyramids, and the Sphinx, and the Nile, your Nile. Oh, my darling. Why do we always meet just to say goodbye? What are those bells?
Have you forgotten what night this is? The last of 1799. 8 bells for the old year and 8 for the new. Happy New Year, darling.
Happy New Year.
Dawn of a new century.
1800. How strange it sounds.
What a century it's been. Marlborough rode to war, and Washington crossed the Delaware. Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. The last of the Stuarts. Peter the Great. Voltaire. Clive of India. Bonaparte.
Nelson.
Now I've kissed you. Through 2 centuries.
1800. The beginning of a new life for me. A life without you. How beautiful was the old century. When I was with you.
Emma, say that you could never leave me.
I can never leave you.
Say that you hate the blasted pyramids.
I hate the pyramids.
That you never want to see the Sphinx.
I never want to see the Sphinx.
We'll go back to London together.
I would have died if you'd left me here.
I am Lady Nelson.
Everything has been prepared for your ladyship. Your rooms have been reserved for the Admiralty.
Thank you. Kindly show me to my rooms. You will find our bed linen in the green trunk. We prefer our own sheets.
Very good, your ladyship.
Breakfast precisely at 6:45. India tea with lemon, 1 4-minute egg, 2 slices of thinly buttered toast.
I shall instruct the head waiter, your ladyship.
Oh, I dislike waiters in the rooms. Would you arrange for chambermaid?
As you wish, your lady.
Thank you. Here. Go and drink a health to Lord Nelson, my son.
Oh, thank you, sir. I will and be proud to.
I am deeply honored to have you with us on this great occasion, sir. You are the guest of the British Admiralty, Mr. Nelson.
Good. Then charge up a glass of port to the British Admiralty. And let's have it right away.
Yes.
Anything for you, my dear?
No, thank you. One small glass of light port for Mr. Nelson and a warming pan for his bed.
Very good, your ladyship.
Wonderful, wonderful. A lap of luxury. No morning service and no chickens to feed. Let's have breakfast in bed with 2 eggs, eh?
I've arranged everything, Father. It's unwise to break good habits even in London. And besides, you must remember Dr. Ponsonby's words of advice.
Dr. Ponsonby's advice? Did Dr. Ponsonby's son ever sink the French fleet? We're going to enjoy ourselves.
Your ladyship, Lord Spencer's here and wishes to be received.
Oh, very well.
Yes.
Good morning, Lady Nelson. The Admiralty appreciates your prompt response to its request. I hope your accommodation is comfortable.
Quite, Lord Spencer, thank you. Pray be seated.
Thank you.
I assume that the Admiralty desires my presence to discuss with them the arrangements for my husband's reception. When does he arrive?
He's already arrived, Lady Nelson.
What?
It was Lord Nelson's special wish that his arrival should not be made public.
Did he include his wife in the term public?
I don't recall the exact phraseology of the letter. However, the Admiralty thought it advisable to accede to his request. He arrived at Great Yarmouth yesterday.
I was not aware that Great Yarmouth is a naval port.
He traveled on the mail packet from Hamburg.
Isn't that peculiar? I should have supposed that a victorious admiral would have arrived on his own flagship.
Flagship? Oh, it is not customary, as you know, for ladies to travel on battleships.
I see. I wondered why the Admiralty had decided not to give my husband an official reception. Now I understand and fully agree.
The program for Lord Nelson's stay in London will be a simple one. He should be able to leave for his home in Norfolk day after tomorrow, even tomorrow night.
Do I understand that my husband will be forced to resign from the Navy?
Oh, no, Lady Nelson. Hardly as drastic as that. Extended leave for the benefit of his health will be suggested.
A matter of different words. That's what you mean, isn't it? I'm glad. You were quite right to spare the people of London the indignity of fating a hero who treats with contempt the most sacred rules of life.
May I say a personal word? Try to be forgiving, Lady Nelson. Only the weaknesses of the great are glaring.
I prefer the official view.
Goodbye, Lady Nelson.
Did you hear it? Cheering! Listen! He's coming! He's coming! He's coming!
Please, sir, may I have your permission to hang a flag in the balcony?
Hang 2 flags, 3 flags, everything you've got.
Thank you, sir. Come on. Hang the coat of arms between the flags. Most opportune, sir. We saved the coat of arms from King George's Jubilee.
You realize that these are my private rooms, sir?
You must forgive me, your ladyship. I had no idea this would happen. The Admiralty told me that Lord Nelson's return would be strictly private and without demonstration. We never dreamed that the public would take the matter so completely in hand.
Has the government no control over this vulgar demonstration?
No, ma'am, but the vulgar demonstration has good control over the government.
Bravo, Van Elton! Bravo!
I must get back to the Admiralty. Hang out all the flags we've got.
Listen, church bells.
Victory bells for my son.
There they are.
Mr. Nelson? My name is Hamilton.
Oh, my son's good friend. He's often told me about you in his letters.
You ought to be congratulated. You have a great son. Lady Nelson, I am delighted to meet you. We had the privilege of joining your husband in his triumphant procession across Europe. It was overwhelming and quite exhausting, I'm afraid, for an old man. But my wife was in her element. She swallows a triumph like a penguin swallows a herring.
Did you have a good crossing, Sir William?
Quite rough, I'm afraid. Everyone was seasick, and I was sicker than them all. And I made the mistake of trying to ward it off with pills and mixtures.
Oh, dear, dear, dear.
But what's the good of trying to fight the elements? It's far more sensible, is it not, Lady Nelson? And so much easier to accept their victory, whether those elements be around us or within us. I hope we shall have the pleasure of seeing you frequently, Lady Nelson.
He's coming! Nelson! Nelson!
My boy. How proud your mother would be if she could have seen you this day.
How have you been all these years, Father?
First rate. Fanny's taken great care of me.
I'm sure she has. There is so much I have to be grateful to you for. How are you, my dear?
I'm very well.
And how is Burnham Thorpe?
They've named a street after us.
What an honor.
It was magnificent, stupendous, wasn't it? Wonderful, William. You must make a speech. They're wild with enthusiasm. Come to the balcony, quickly, quickly. Come. Lady Nelson. I am Emma Hamilton.
Well, it's been a great day. A wonderful day. And next month, it's the choir boys' picnic at Burnham Thorpe.
Why do you laugh? Are the pleasures of country people of so small account? A little more wholesome, I think, than the mass hysteria we've seen today.
Well, call it what you like. It was a beautiful reception.
You wouldn't believe the fuss they made about him at Naples the day after the battle. Coup! Such crowds, thousands of Italians, all smelling of different sorts of onions.
Onions?
Yes, they always do. I don't know why. It comes out more and they get excited. There was such a crowd round the embassy that day, the milkman couldn't get in, so his lordship had to go without his macaroni pudding.
His what?
My Emma put him on macaroni pudding to fatten him up after the battle. Did you ever meet the King of Naples, Mrs. Nelson? He was the one for macaroni. He'd take pieces that length, open his gullet and drop it in. Proper caution he was. He came to see Emma with the Queen one day and he pinched he pinched me.
He pinched you? The King?
Well, you see, he's a foreigner, poor King. He got so jealous when they cheered his lordship because he loved it so much himself. If you shouted outside his palace, he'd come in and out like a cuckoo clock. Emma, who was that other king we met on the way home? You know, I get so mixed up with all these monarchs. Oh, dear, Emma, will you excuse me, dear? I've been up since 5.
Of course, Mother, darling. Good night.
Oh, it's good to be back in England again, to hear the bow bells and the muffin men and the soot falling down your chimney.
Well, Sir William, how goes the world these days? Can we hope for a little peace now?
Well, I don't know.
What was that medicine you gave my husband?
It's some stuff my mother makes. It's very good for coughs and colds.
I think I would prefer my husband to see a doctor.
This weather is dreadful for him. It was so different in Italy. The sun always seemed to shine there.
Yes, it's never very agreeable in the Thames Valley during the winter. But it's only for a few days. Once he's back in Norfolk, he'll be a different man.
Do you think you will be leaving London so soon?
Certainly, there's nothing to detain us. Directly he's made his report to the Admiralty and taken his seat in the House of Lords, we shall be free to go. Why not?
Oh, of course, yes.
What are your plans, Lady Hamilton? I suppose you'll be going abroad again shortly.
We don't really know. Life is so very uncertain, isn't it?
I haven't found it so. Will you excuse me, Lady Hamilton? It's been a very exhausting day.
Of course. Good night.
Good night.
Emma. We've been living in a dream. And now we are faced with the truth. How ugly it is. How terribly ugly.
But we've still got the courage to face it, haven't we?
What's the good of being courageous if you are trapped? If you know you are wrong and that there's no way out?
I'll go to her and talk to her tonight, at once. And you must talk to William. They must understand.
Divorce?
There is no other way.
No, my love. That might be well enough for other people, but not for you. You are not an ordinary man, and you cannot behave as though you were Mr. Jones or Mr. Thompson.
I wish I were a Mr. Thompson.
Now, for the first time, I begin to understand what William meant. What we are doing is so dreadfully wrong. Of course, I should have realized it before. And because it is wrong, it cannot bring happiness. Those streets we came along today, they're the very same streets I walked through when I was a kitchen maid looking for work. But today they were the scene of your triumph. The triumph of our greatest man coming to his home. They have made you the symbol of all that is most precious to them. And whatever you do will be their guide and example. You will not speak to your wife. And I shall not speak to William. I'm cold. I'm freezing. I'm frightened.
Emma, somebody will hear you. Emma, dear Emma.
Is this better? Lowered voices, stolen meetings, darkness, suspicion, lies, more lies. Is this what has become of it? All that beauty and light and glory. Good night, my dearest love. Good night.
I, my lords, have in different countries seen much of the miseries of war. I am, therefore, in my inmost soul, a man of peace. Yet I would not, for the sake of any peace, however fortunate, consent to sacrifice one jot of England's honor. Hitherto, there has been nothing greater known on the continent than the faith, the untainted honor, the generous public sympathies, the high diplomatic influence, the commerce, the grandeur, the irresistible power, the unconquerable valor of the British nation.
He's nervous. Look at his hand. He's trembling.
It's nerve-wracking for any man to come into the House of Lords for the first time. It will be more nerve-wracking for the poor man when he goes out. Why?
There is that Hamilton woman.
Or war, no interest separate from
And
the
don't
people
look
at
now.
large.
His wife.
And as the nation was pleased with the sincere spirit of peace.
It will be a thrilling moment when he goes into the vestibule. I can hardly wait to see which one he goes to first. Her? Oh, her.
India, were you comfortable up there?
Sufficiently, Horace, sufficiently.
Did you hear my speech?
For the most part. You have a way of overemphasizing, which is rather embarrassing.
Oh.
But it was interesting, quite interesting.
Lady Keith? Mr. Spencer? Lady Hamilton?
Stand back, please. Give her a gentleman, please.
What was that?
It's Lady Hamilton.
Stand back, gentlemen, please.
Wait, Francis, please.
Will you fetch a doctor? Yes, immediately.
Make me, please. What's happened? I told her not to come, sir. She's not been feeling well all day. Where is the doctor?
But why should she faint? My dear, it's natural to women of all classes.
Drive on. Well?
Francis, how could you drive away like that without making the slightest effort to help Lady Hamilton?
Did you expect me to take that woman into my carriage? Just because she selects the House of Lords as the appropriate stage for her melodrama?
When people have been kind to me and generously, I don't expect you to ignore them when they're ill. Even in the House of Lords.
Generous?
It is well known that what success I may have achieved has been largely due to the help I've received from the Hamiltons. Why are you so ungrateful?
Why are you so blind? Don't you see what that woman is after? It's the oldest story in the world, the most sordid and the most contemptible. Find a public hero, and there you'll find as sure as fate a woman parasite. Don't you realize that all she wants is to flutter about in your glory, to use you for her own ambition and conceit? Oh, I know. She helped you. She encouraged you. Why, it was part of her plan to play upon your vanity. And she's quite capable of declaring you the father of her child.
Francis, control yourself.
Why not? Even an accusation of that kind stirs some men's vanity.
Silence!
Oh, yes. Everyone says she's a wonderful actress. She is brilliant to have hidden a sweet secret for so long. The other day you remarked upon the new fashions, all these frills and folds. She invented them, and all society followed. Wonderful to lead society into helping her through an awkward predicament. You fool, don't you realize that everything she does is calculated and cold-blooded? She faints in the House of Lords, a perfect place. Do you suppose she'd have wasted time in fainting in her own bedroom? You poor, silly man.
Poor and silly. Yes, that is what I am without her. I'm a peer of England because of her.
And because of her, I'm Lady Nelson. Lady Nelson. What an honor. They point after my coach, point up at my windows, point at me in the streets. There's a coarse joke about me in the taverns, a foul song about me on the Limehouse barges. Lady Nelson, how funny, how pitiful, and how proud I might be.
I'm sorry, Francis.
Sorry? Is that all you have to give me?
Yes. That is all.
Very well. I shall take that as your answer. And now you shall have mine. I shall go away, but I shall never drag the name of Nelson through the divorce court. As long as I live, I shall be your wife. Goodbye.
Horatio, call her back. I implore you, call her back. You mustn't let her go like this.
I couldn't help hearing what you said, Horatio.
Please, Father, try to understand.
I do, my boy, I do. I know I'm a silly old man, a humble country parson, and I don't know the world, except the little people who come to me with their little troubles. But even those little people sometimes have to fight in the depths of their soul the same temptations as you, the great of the world. And when they have to choose between right and wrong, I give them the same advice as I give to you now.
Even if it forces all three of us to live in misery for the rest of our lives?
Even so.
That is something I cannot do, Father.
Then I shall go with her, Horatio.
What is the name of the child?
Horatio Thompson.
Her father's name?
Horatio Thompson.
Profession?
Sailor.
Where is he now?
At sea.
Emily!
Mother, darling, are you well?
Yes, how's the baby?
Oh, I wish you could see her. She's an angel. Not at all like a child of 2 months. She's like a little princess. I wish you could see the way she receives her bottle and then indicates the meal is over. You'd adore her.
What does she weigh now?
9 pounds, 4 ounces before her second bottle. The news. Isn't it splendid?
What news?
Well, haven't you heard?
I haven't heard a thing. I haven't been out.
He's done it again. He's beaten the Danes.
Oh.
It's a glorious victory. You see, Nelson was in the front line of battle, ahead of the main fleet. And when his commander-in-chief saw that the enemy outnumbered us by more than 2 to 1, he sent up a signal to Nelson, telling him to give up the fight and withdraw. And do you know what Nelson did? When the signal was pointed out to him, he picked up a telescope, put it to his blind eye, and said, "I'm darned if I can see any signal," and went on fighting and won.
There, you see. Everything comes in handy now and again if you know how to use it, even a blind eye.
How's William, Mother?
I have some news too, Emma, but not so good as yours. All his treasures, pictures, everything. He's waited for them to come from Naples for so long, and now we know for certain they all went down in the ship that was lost in the storm.
Oh, poor William. That was his whole life.
Gavin, that picture there, the Van Dyke, it's crooked, don't you see? I've told you about it twice already. Why don't you put it straight?
I guess I will. Here, sir.
There. That's good. Good, Gavin. It's good to have my pictures around me once more. And my statues. But they need more light, more room. We must rearrange them, Gavin. Gavin, I'll dine with Miss Hart tonight. Alone. At 8 o'clock.
Look after yourself, dear. Talk to Sir William before it's too late, or the house itself will go to his nephew instead of to his wife.
His wife? Why, I've never been his wife, Mother. Let Charles have the money. I don't want it, and I don't deserve it.
But, my darling, if things stay as they are, you won't have a penny when he dies. You'll be poor.
I shall be rich. I've got my child, his child. I think that means more than all the money in the world. Can I see Sir William now, Gavin?
I don't think it's advisable, milady. He's sleeping. Very peaceful.